this thing on? I think it's on. You gonna keep looking at that logo? I know you're a lover of the bike, but come on, man. I'm up here. There you are. So, today I kind of wanted to go over how I set up Echo on the bike, how I strap her on. My last video I kind of introduced you just briefly to her and I showed you the bike. In this video I want to go over all the stuff that I've purchased to make this happen so that she can ride as safely as possible without incident. Now, disclaimer, don't go buying this stuff and thinking that your dog's just going to jump on a bike and be good. Echo is 15 months old. I got her at 3 months old, and I've been working with her ever since then to get her on the bike. And she's only been riding for the last couple of months, and not a lot. I don't go crazy with her yet. I do want to be able to tour with her, but just a little disclaimer. So the first thing that I purchased was a leash splitter. Basically, this is made for walking two dogs simultaneously. I put this on my belt and it comes around my belt loop, if that makes sense. So to do that, what I do is I take the bottom end. Oh, and if you're asking, I'll put a link in, but this was on Amazon. Hope you can see that well. And it's just a leash splitter. And I would say this is fully extended. This is adjustable. So if I needed it shorter, I could. It turns out the length of full out is actually perfect for Echo with the harness that I have for her. And I'll go over the harness in a minute. So the first part I do is, oh, and the other thing you'll need a carabiner. This is not a large carabiner. It is a KN8. The other thing I do, and none of this, by the way, is promoted by anybody. It's just what I use and what I like. I don't know if you've heard of Grip 6 belts, but Grip 6 belts are really thin. They're extremely durable, and they lock in place, and I have no problems with them. There's no holes on the other end. They're just an amazing belt, and for this purpose, they're really awesome. So the first thing I'll do is I'll put my belt on all the way around. And there are videos on how to lock in your Grip 6 if you don't have one, and if you want one, you can get them on Amazon or you can go to grip6.com. But whatever belt you use, you get your belt to this point right here. Then you take your carabiner and you will put it on the belt, like so, right? So that the clip is facing up. So you push and put anything in it, it's going to drop down, right? So you'll put that clip there, then you'll lock your belt in, whichever belt you have. All right, so I got my Grip 6 belt. I got my carabiner. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my two-way leash splitter, and my dog is watching me intently right now. I do it with this piece hanging down instead of this way. I just prefer it this way, and there is a reason for that, and I'll show you in a sec. But basically, I just pop it in the carabiner. So now it's attached to me, right? Then I will take each side and run it through the loops in my pants. So there's 1, 2. I only go to the 2 because it lands it right on my side. Then when I'm on the bike, I can clip it to her harness and she'll be attached to me. Then I do the same on the other side. 1, 2. So now, when she's sitting on me, I can put her harness on, and it's got clips on the harness where she'll be attached to me and she won't be able to go anywhere, right? But she still has freedom to move. The reason I do this face down is because when we get off the bike, I take these and I just clip them here. So when I'm not riding, they're still 1980s fashionable, right? And my shirt covers them for the most part. Now in a pinch, here's the beauty. In a pinch, this is actually long enough that I can take this off and use it as a leash. So I don't have to carry a leash around. I can just put her on this and we're good. But yeah, so that is this part. The next part, I'll actually go outside and I'll go to the bike. No, Echo, I did not make the bed. I didn't make the bed because I figured you'd want to go outside. Are you wanting to go for a ride? Should we go outside? What do you think? Should we get your cut? Should we load you up on the bike? Should we maybe go to the park? Okay. Time to get the glasses on. You about ready, Echo? Got to get her cut. So this is what I use for her harness. Come here, Echo. Basically, it just goes on like so, and buckles around underneath, like so, and then she'll be strapped in here. So it's got a reflecting on there for the front. Oh, baby girl, get to sleep out of your eye. Now we're gonna go take off. I've worn her out at the park, so she should be better to ride now. To ride with a dog, especially if they're just going to be chilling on the gas tank, it's probably a good idea to wear them out a little bit first before you go on a ride. Otherwise, she gets excited and she starts acting a fool. Yeah, so anyway, continuing on with the stuff I need. This attaches to this that I put on earlier at the house, and she'll sit and these will clip onto here, so one on each side, and that's how she rides. Now I did promise in my last video I'd show you in detail what I did to the bike. Come on, Echo. This is basically how I set up the bike. I bought a bungee cord that's actually adjustable, as you can see here. Just pop this out. You can slide this all the way down if you need a shorter one. Like I said, I didn't want to wrap a bungee underneath the motor here, so I did the extended foot pegs here, and the bungee goes from one side to the other. This is the bath mat. As you can see, it's cut perfectly to shape, and it matches the bike. What's that?
Does your dog ride in the back there?
No, she rides up here.
Oh, okay.
She rides on front.
Good. She gets a good bud ride.
Yes, ma'am. Have a good day. So anyway, that's how the bike's set up. Now I got to get the dog because she's not a huge fan, like I said. Come on. Let's go. Good girl. Come to the bike. But she won't jump up, which kind of sucks. I wish she would. But she will stay there long enough for me to unlock it and get ready. Oh, baby girl. You gonna stay there? Yeah, she'll stay. And then she lets me pick her up and she lets me set her on the bike. And she doesn't flinch. Well, she doesn't mind the engine anymore. When she was a puppy, she used to run from it. She hated the bike. So, come here, honey. Atta girl. I wish you would jump up, but you won't. Now, thankfully, she's about full grown. So she's got some more pounds to put on, but she is full grown. So from this angle, this is how she sits. And this, if I can find it,
So this goes here, like so. And this one hits the other side. So she still has some move, but she can't jump off. And she knows it. That's the important thing. She knows she cannot jump off. And we're off. So anyway, since the first video did not really record properly, it was horrid. It was whitewashed horribly. You couldn't see nothing. And since that's the case, I'm going to go ahead and just spit out what I was talking about on the way here. As far as training her to do this, honestly, took about a year. This is not something that has happened very quickly. Because she has high fears. She's very gun shy. And as you all know, a Harley isn't quiet. Especially a Harley with a stage 1 upgrade. Now, as you can see, it doesn't bother her, the noise anyway. But it took a little while to get her just to not be so gun shy around the bike. And honestly, yeah, she just had to get used to it, you know. It's like get over yourself kind of thing. And then, of course, I had to do other training. So I worked on sit, stay, and, you know, basic commands. Stay is very important. And then being a herding dog, it was actually really easy to train her to stop when she was running. So I would tell her to stay, and then I'd tell her to stay, and I'd walk away about, I don't know, 25 yards or so, and then I'd break her. I'd tell her break, and she'd run, and then I'd tell her stop, and she'd stop. So I had to train her to do that. The reason I did that was because part of the training to get her on the bike was to teach her to chase me on the bike. And I wanted to be able to give her verbal commands. Stop at a stop sign, make a left, make a right. You know, now, again, she is a herding dog. She's an Australian cattle dog. This is easy for them. This is like in their blood. So training her to go left and right and stop and all that, it just doesn't take very long. It's like all natural, right? It's kind of what they do. So I did have to train her to do all that. And the reason for doing that, I wanted her to chase me on the bike first and teach her all these things, because if, for some god-awful reason, worst case scenario, she winds up not on the bike while we're riding, whether she breaks loose and gets off at a stop sign or I have to lay it down, I want her to be able to listen to me when I tell her to stop if there's a car coming. So that was my primary reasoning behind it. Nothing more than just safety, you know. Now she is wore out, so she's actually doing pretty chill. On the way to the park, she was going a little nuts because she was excited. But on the way home, it's always easier. When I first got her on the bike, I actually went to Canine Sports Sacks and purchased one of their backpacks for the dog with a booster seat, because initially I was thinking I'd carry her on my back, and that has since changed. It was good for training, just to get her on the bike and get her used to it, because she could freak out a little bit and it wouldn't bother me so much. I had to take it really slow because she was bigger, and she start flailing, it knocks you off balance. So just be warned if you're going to do that. Because when she first got on, she was very, like, flaring. Now, I don't know if it was excitement because we knew where we were going, or I don't know if it was the fact that she was swaddled in the sack, in the backpack, and she hates that. She absolutely hates it. Now again, she's trained in it, so she will get in it, but she hates it. She'll tolerate it, but she is not a fan. I've been thinking about it because I want to go on trips with her. I don't have any luggage options really. So I have to have a sissy bar bag for my luggage, which is the place she would have been sitting if she was in the backpack. The other options were to get a trailer or a sidecar, and those options both cost upwards of $3,000 to $5,000 depending on what you get. And I didn't want her behind me in a trailer, and I didn't want to put a sidecar on because it's kind of a permanent fixture, and I don't want to adjust my bike like that. So yeah, I didn't want to put a sidecar. I certainly didn't want to spend $3,000 to $5,000. There are a couple of companies that build a carrier that they put on the back for big dogs, but again, I have no room for luggage if I do that, so I had to figure something else out, and this was the option that I chose to go with. It's all building blocks, really. It really is. But don't think that, you know, just because you got a blue heeler and you got a Harley that you can put her on front and you'll be honky-dory, because you will find out that is not the case. It took a lot of work to get where I'm at with her now, and as you can see, she's chill. I can hit some speeds, and she ain't going nowhere. I can mess around. She is cool. I've practiced hard braking with her. You know, I've practiced a lot with her, so she knows she knows how to ride. She's a good dog. She's a good dog. I'm just thankful she doesn't get seasick. Anyway, we're almost home, baby girl. Now that I'm home, she still won't jump off unless I tell her to. She waits. Good girl, break. There she goes. So yeah, hope y'all enjoyed that little bit of a ride. And yeah, catch y'all in the next vid.